What's cracking, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. New video. Today's video is going to be in response to a comment that I just received, I don't know, about a half hour ago maybe. And the comment was left on a video that I made about 3 years ago, right? And that video was part 2 of a video that I had made, and it was called "Why Raza Don't Give Blacks Head Up Fades in California Prisons," something like that, right? It's my most viewed video, and it's filled with, the comment section is filled with the most racism and hatred, right? And I talked about in prison how most of the factions, I know all the Mexicans and the whites have the same no hands policy. No hands meaning if there's an issue, if there's a disagreement, if something needs to be dealt with, you're going to do it with a weapon. You're going to do it with a knife. It's not going to be fist fight. It's not going to be wrestling, nothing like that. It's going to be someone getting holes punched in their body, and whether or not they survive is up to God, right? And in those videos, I went into all the details, but here I want to put the comment up, and then I want to read it for you. Bet you no fighting fools in California. Now that right there lets you know the person's not from California, and it sounds like doesn't like California dudes. But bet you no fighting fools in California start giving out life without parole sentences, and 20 of that life sentence will be 23 and 1 seg for stabbing another inmate. Or if the inmate is unalived, get the death sentence. Y'all will learn to fight and lay those knives down when it's just a simple fight. Wow. So there's a lot to unpack there, right? You can always tell someone who has never been in a prison in California by their comments, right? And I know where this guy is from, and I'm not going to say where he's from because people get so offended when you say what state they're from, even though they're leaving a comment bashing California dudes. It's hilarious. But it's not about comparing states. It's about what goes on here and the fact that from the outside, single individuals think they can change what goes on here and it would just be so much more simple. No. So let's start from the beginning. If people got life without parole sentences or the death penalty, that's been in play in California forever. There are a lot of dudes who unalive somebody on the yard and got another life sentence or got the death penalty. Apparently, you're just not aware of that, right? But that's been in play forever. Also, to think that guys who are doing life or they are stretched out, they're politicking, they're on the yard, to think that they're worried about what the state is going to give them, you really don't understand the mentality of dudes behind those walls. You know, it cracks me up because you will have dudes who, they went to prison, right? They didn't go to prison for being the nice guy, right? They went to prison because 99% of them used a weapon on the streets. And then they go to jail and they're afraid to use a weapon. No, let's just fist fight it out. Now, you should have fist fought that dude on the streets. You'd probably still be out there. You probably wouldn't have that life sentence. So how are you going to be willing to use a gun, a knife, a bat, crowbar, whatever it is, on the streets, jump people with your homeboys, But then talk about people inside are afraid, and that's why they use a weapon. Were you afraid when you used your weapon to catch your time? No. You were using the tools of your trade. Unfortunately, that's a reality, right? And so you get behind the walls in the adult system. And see, this is the thing that people like to always forget about and always overlook. We had the California Youth Authority, which was basically prison for kids up to their 25th birthday, right? We had the camp system. We had the juvenile hall system. And throughout the entire juvenile system, Mexicans did fist fight. They used weapons too when they felt like it, but they did fist fight. And they fist fought every ethnicity, every nationality. No fear. And everybody that was there knows everybody was chunking them things, right? You go into the adult system, you have to understand California is different. There are groups, there are organizations who they're feeding their families on the streets. They're making money. And who in the hell do you think you are to come onto a yard and the dude's been there 40 years, 30 years, 20 years? And here you come with your little petty emotions, and you know what? This guy got me mad. I'm going to go sock him in his face. Okay, well, you better hope he doesn't have a knife on him, because that little sock you did, you're going to get a whole bunch of holes punched in you. And let's say you catch a dude slipping. Your emotions got you to put your hands on another man. If he is not a part of your race, a part of your ranfla, your car, your faction, now you kicked off a riot. You are definitely in trouble. Fuck your emotions. Who the hell are you? You are a single individual running with a bunch of men who are doing their time, and you just interfered with their time. You definitely interfered with their money. So you got to pay for it. And if it's somebody within your own faction, you're still going to get holes plugged in you. There's no bullying allowed. You don't get to just put your hands on somebody. If there's an issue and you got an issue that bad, then you take it to the powers that be within your faction and say, man, I got an issue with this vato. You know, this guy right here, for whatever reason, this and this and that. And you know what they're going to do? They're going to try to make sure you guys can be separated and just, hey, do your time. Don't be a headache for nobody. But if you continue to push the issue, they're going to bring you both together and say, hey, seems like this shit can't be fixed. So why don't you both grab a knife and either sell up with each other and solve the shit, or meet on the yard and solve the shit? But we're a bunch of fucking men here and we don't have time for this little shit. That's the reality. A fist fight doesn't settle anything. It just makes an enemy. You do not want to be on the yard with an enemy, somebody that you put hands on. That has nothing to do with cowardice. I can tell you, I remember there was a time I was in a certain yard. I was on B yard in New Folsom, and there was a specific group. I'm not going to say which group. And every time they handled business, it was a fist fight. And it was laughed at. Like, everybody on the yard was like, man, if we get into it with them dudes, that's easy. Would it have been easy? I don't know. Did they have weapons? I don't know. They never used them. Everybody else was, right? And so, you know, another thing, over here in California, for those of you that don't know, you know, they had all the hunger strikes here, and they finally shut down the shoes here in California. Well, they had a thing here where for decades here in California, you could be housed in the, what he says, 23-1 seg. It's called shoe over here. Seg is like, ad seg is like where you go to get your hearing, and then you get sent to the shoe. So ad seg here would be like the county jail, and the shoe would be the prison within the prison, right? But dudes would be housed in the shoe here, 23-1 lockdown, for decades, and they hadn't even broken a rule. It was because they were identified or labeled as being a part of something. And they sat there for decades. So when somebody like this says about giving them life sentences, that's been done. Death penalty, that's been done. Decades, those things have been done. And then talks about 23-1. For decades, that was done. You guys got to understand, man, the hopelessness, the hatred, the despair, and then the drive, which is something completely different, of the men behind the walls. They don't think about, damn, Holmes, if I go and whack this dude, man, shit, I could get life. They're probably already doing life. Or they're stretched out and they got their mind made up on some stuff they want to do, some stuff they want to be, things they want to be a part of. And when that's the case, the laws of society don't matter. The rules of the CDC don't matter. The rules of your faction are the only thing that matters. The state can give you another life sentence, okay? The state can give you a death penalty or the death sentence, okay? In California, that's already gone. Those dudes are all on the yards now, right? But your faction can execute you the day of an incident that they didn't like, or the day after, or the week after, whenever they feel like it. Prison is a very, very ugly place. Prison in California is a very, very political place. Fist fights solve nothing. I talked about it in my other videos. I was schooled when I first went in there. If it can be handled with just this, then it could be handled with this. It's not serious. A fist fight isn't going to solve anything, but it's going to fuck with other people's money. It's going to fuck with other factions and their money. And because of what? Because somebody got their feelings hurt about something that's frivolous behind those walls? It's just, I know that people are going to hear this and they're not going to be able to wrap their heads around it. And you know what? That's a cool thing. That means you never lived that life. Because when I did this video last time, there were a lot of people that were saying, oh, Mexicans are scared to fight. Okay, whatever. Went through the whole juvenile system fighting everybody. But all of a sudden they become adults and they're scared, right? Okay. But there was a panel of OG blacks that confirmed what I said. And they were like, yeah, the fuck we look like fist fighting. These were OGs. They were like, yeah, you're in prison. You can be doing that little kid ass shit. If there's an issue, you whack them and move on. So this is another reason why I always try to show the truth about how violent, how ugly, how deadly it is in there. So that maybe, you know, people caught up in dabbling in that lifestyle would think twice. You ain't going to find no friends behind them walls. You're going to run into some associates, and you're going to learn real fast. Don't get attached to nobody. They're going to come and go the whole time you're there, and you might be there your whole life. That's my video for today. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Everybody, please be safe, be smart, and tell the ones you love that you love them. I'm out of here.
Welcome to Vario Liquors, home of the coldest beer in the 209. Chilled to a perfect 32 degrees. From mix and go drink kits to both classic and exotic spirits, we've got something for everyone. Visit us at 1870 Countryside Drive, Turlock, California. Catch you at the Vario.
Your yard says a lot about your home. At Sticks and Stones Yard Service, we turn overgrown lawns into clean, polished outdoor spaces. From mowing and edging to cleanup, trimming, and tree removal, we do it right the first time. Reliable, affordable, professional. Let us handle the work so you can enjoy the results. Sticks and Stones Yard Service. Solid work every time. Call or message us today for a free estimate.